Hey everyone, welcome back to Novelists Unwind. I'm Johnnie Alexander. Really glad to have you with us today, and very excited to have Lynette Eason with us. Lynette is made bestseller list. She's an award-winning author. I mean, all kinds of awards, 2 Carol Awards, Selah Inspirational Reader's Choice for her novels. I was looking at Lynette's website yesterday and counting all the books, and there were 46.
I was closing in on 50, but I wasn't sure.
Oh my God, well, there's 46 pictures, and I was in awe thinking, oh my goodness, how did you write so many books? You must be so fast. But before we get into the writing, tell us a little bit about yourself. We're so glad you're here.
Like writing 3 books at the same time.
You do anything but write books, I guess. It's like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, it definitely keeps me busy. I don't know that I really have a style. I think my style is just whatever works for me at the time of that particular day.
Yeah.
Deadlines are, and I do try to keep like a daily word count on the project. And so what I try to do is meet that daily word count, and if not, I'll have to catch up. But when I get really into a project and I'm closing in on the end, I write a lot faster. So yeah. And because I know where I'm going at that point.
Sure.
I'm not one of those people that plots everything out. So I guess I'm more of a pantser, but I do plot some because I have to figure out where I'm going. So I don't know. I'm kind of a combination, but I lean more toward the pantser side. But yeah, but about midway, maybe a little further into the book, I pretty much have the whole ending figured out.
Yeah.
It's just getting to that point that makes me crazy. So what I'll do is I'll just race to the finish line and finish the book, and then I don't worry about the other stories at the time. And then when I finish that one, I jump back and figure out what my word count needs to be for the rest of that one. So
wow, that's just amazing though. I mean, to do that many, I mean, you're obviously doing more than 1 book a year. So
I do 3 or 4 a year. I average 4 a year, maybe 4.5.
So you write for Revell, so those are the longer books, and we're going to be talking about a couple of those. The new books in the Blue Justice series. This is Oath of Honor, which I'm reading right now, and it kept me up later last night than I wanted to be up, but that's a good thing, right? And then the latest book and the second book in that series called To Protect. So yeah, I'm eager to read that one too. And you also write for Love Inspired, which they're a little shorter. So
yeah.
How does that work with and I don't even know for sure how to phrase this question, I guess, but when you're working like putting a story into 55, 60,000 words, is that about what it is versus like 95,000 words?
Well, actually, my Revell books tend to be between 80 and 85,000.
Okay.
They started out, my first contract was 85 to 90,000, and then the one after that, it was 80 to 85, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Oath of Honor actually did end up being around 90,000 words, I think. I just,
it looks like
first in the series, and there was just so much I wanted to have. That book was, oh, there's a story behind that book. But
oh, are you going to share the story behind that book? But you're right. I mean, look at the difference. I don't know if you can tell this one is bigger than this one. That's cool.
I know. I couldn't shut up in that one. I just kept adding, and there was just so much to tell. And I guess just the introduction of, the family and the characters and stuff, and then wrapping everything up so that I didn't leave any dangling details for readers to fuss about, because they will catch them. Which I'm glad. I mean, it keeps you on your toes, make sure you got everything tied up. But no, I had a character. I can't remember exactly. I was going through some stuff at the time, and I had a character in that book, one of the brothers of the hero, and not Kevin, but another brother, Chris, who had been killed in Afghanistan, and so I actually had the storyline where he wasn't dead; they just thought he was, and I was going to have him come back and reintroduce him into the story, and my editor's like, no, we just need to leave him dead. And I was like, yeah, I know. I just couldn't. But that made this poor woman losing 2 sons. And I was just like, it just killed me. And I was like, and I'm not usually that way at all. Usually I'm like, he's dead, whatever. So I know, but my heart just was like broken for this character. And that's really strange for me. I never had that issue. So
wow.
It just goes to tell you. Anyway.
You've killed a lot of characters over the years, right?
I know, but that book was almost like a rewrite. It was not a complete rewrite, but it was, I mean, taking that plot line out and that kind of stuff. And it was not fun, but it turned out really well. I think I'm very pleased with the way it turned out.
Good. I mean, I was reading it. I've been doing some traveling, so I was reading it on the plane. You know, I mean, it's really at the airport. I'm really enjoying the story a lot. Are these characters in a previous book then?
The from Oath of Honor?
Yeah.
No, it's a completely, I think I did give a shout out to, and I think it was Quinn that was in the previous series, in the Elite Guardian series, but no, for the most part, they're all new characters.
Okay. The one, why I asked was because I was hoping I wasn't missing anything. The Izzy, the main character, I mean, she's going through some things from a past event, and he's like, I wonder if that past event was in a different book. If it was, it's like, I'm going to have to go back, and
Yeah, I just let it all happen off screen. No.
Yeah.
There was no room. Really show it, yeah.
It would have been this big, right? Oh, that's really cool. So, with writing so many books, how do you keep them all straight? And I know you probably get asked all the time, how do you come up with fresh ideas? That has to be hard.
I do get that question quite a bit, and that's a really good question. I don't know. It's something I'll be watching a movie, or I watch quite a few Lifetime movies, the movies and mysteries channel, and television. I watch Law and Order and stuff. Blue Bloods, which is where the Oath of Honor. I mean the Blue Justice series kind of got the idea for,
with the big family and all of that.
Yeah, just pretty much the only thing. It was a family and law enforcement was the only thing I took from Blue Bloods. So everything else is mine. I made up.
Of course.
Yeah. And so I'll find a character will say something. There'll be an action scene, or there'll be something that will just kind of spark that. Ooh, I wonder if I did this, could I make a story out of this? Yeah. And I'll sit down, I'll play with the idea a little bit, and usually I can come up with something, original and just completely mine, but it may have been sparked by that other. Yeah, and I'll read. I try to read as much as I can, believe it or not, in my genre, because I know people say they don't like to read in their genre because they're worried that they'll copy something. I don't worry about that so much because I know I'm not going to do that. What I do is that I'll get an idea for something. Like you can give 10 people the same topic, worded exactly the same way, and you will get 10 completely different stories. And so I don't really worry about reading my genre. I love my genre. That's why I write in this genre, because I want to read all the cool new books that come out in it. And so but something in that may spark an idea, and I'll just go from there.
And I'm sure you find too, and I found this, that as you write a character and the story starts taking shape, they become who they are, and they sort of derive it. So they're original because they're different characters, than characters you've written about before. They kind of
take on their own personality. Yeah. I don't really know why, because I don't base anybody I know. They become people, and sometimes I feel like I'm writing the same character sometimes, and then I'll try to, if I find myself doing that, I'll try to find some little quirk or some, physical aspect, or like an internal conflict or something that's just different than what I've done before. So yeah, and they just kind of take on their own personalities. So, I don't know.
I know. I love that. I love it when they start doing that. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, just before we start recording, Lynette and I were talking about one of her books having been made into a movie. So tell us a little bit more about that experience and how that happened and where we can find the name of the movie and the book so we can find it.
Yeah, it's Her Stolen Past was made into a Lifetime Movie Network movie. It has the LMN channel. It's not the Lifetime channel. It's
Okay.
LMN, Lifetime Movie Network. There are two different channels, and so yeah, it has to be close to a year and a half, 2 years ago. My editor called me and she said that they had an inquiry into this book by Real World Management. It's REEL.
Oh,
REEL,
okay.
Real World Management. Yeah. And they wanted to know if I would care if they changed the characters to all African American. I was like, no, I don't care. And then I didn't really think anything more about it. And then that was the last I heard of it until I got a royalty statement this past September, and I had been paid for it. And I was like, wait a minute. Yes, they had filmed the movie back. I mean, Harlequin, Love and Sprite, they have their own in-house people that deal with all this stuff. And I don't know if I just fell through the cracks that they didn't let me know this was happening, or they just assumed that I knew. I don't know. But that they had filmed the movie April, May up in North Bay, Canada. And then I saw that they paid me in September, and I was like, so I called my editor, and she found out the details and gave me the details. And the movie was actually supposed to release in September, but they pushed it out to February. For some reason, they wanted to put it in with the whole, I can't remember what they called it, Spooky New Year or something. I don't know, it wasn't spooky, but anyway, there was something they wanted to have it in advertised in with these other things that were releasing at the beginning of the year. I guess maybe or something, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, so it came out February 2nd of this year, and I really liked it. I thought they did a really good job with it. There were obviously some things that they changed. The opening scene is completely different, and I actually liked the movie scene better. I was like, ooh, I wish I had done that. But yeah, but they stuck to the storyline. I thought the actors did a good job, and Shanice Banton and Michael Xavier were the lead characters. And I've spoken with Shanice on Twitter, and she's super sweet. So
that's cool.
yeah. So it was good. It was a really good experience from the little part that I got to have.
And kind of a surprise. That's interesting. And so, what's the name of the movie?
It's what?
What's the name of the movie?
It's called Her Stolen Past.
Her Stolen Past. Okay.
Her Stolen Past. Yeah, and they kept the name of the book. So So I guess they like the name of the book.
I like that title. That's a good title.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a Lifetime Movie Network title, so I'm sure they were fine with that.
That's great. That's great. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about you. I read on your website that you taught for a while at the South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind. Is that?
I did. I taught at the Deaf and Blind School for about all total maybe 8 years. I was back and forth. I started out there in the dormitories taking care of the elementary kids after school because it's a residential school, and I was like one of the dorm mom type things. I had kids from 3 to 7 years old that actually lived there during the week. So they come in on Sunday nights and leave Friday around 1. And so I did that while I was getting my master's degree in teaching. And once I graduated, they hired me to work in the multi-handicap school, which I did for a couple of years. And then I left the school and came back. I just didn't seem to stay away from it. I just love the kids. I love sign language. I love the deaf kids. And there are a lot of great people work there.
What an experience. Have you used any of those experiences in any of your stories?
I have. I actually have a deaf character in Nowhere to Turn. It's in the Hidden Identity series. It's the second book in the series. Simon is my little deaf guy. And he and his mom, his mom is a single mom at this point. And yeah, she has a stalker and all this kind of stuff. So but I based it on one of the students that I kind of worked with there. I worked with, I changed it. I didn't, I gave him some different characteristics and stuff, but it was one of the kids that I just thought was super clever. He was I could just totally see him doing something like Simon and did at the end of the story, and just being a hero in his own right. You know what I mean? So, and I'm sorry, my thing keeps beeping. I don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either. I mean, yeah.
I don't know how to turn it off without turning you off.
I've had timing clocks before, and when I was like, oh gosh, it just is what it is.
But it was a fun book to write, and then I had a couple of love inspired books that one of I think it came out in 2009. There was a series with a family, a mixture of some deaf kids and hearing kids, and the heroine in the first book, it was called A Silent Terror, and she was deaf, and the hero was a hearing guy. So and they got together, and then the second book, it was just more about their family, but and some of the deaf culture, and yeah, I've got a lot of really cool emails from deaf people that have had read them, and so that was neat.
That is that's really cool, and to just have had that firsthand experience, so you really do know what that is like. That's great. That's great. Well, that's cool. And then the other thing that I was really I thought was so cute that you said you met someone and turned out that you married the boy next door. So. Yeah. So it was almost like, okay, was he the boy next door when she was growing up, or so tell us a little bit about that.
When I actually moved to Spartanburg, I moved to Spartanburg, South Carolina in 94, no, 92, some 92, I guess. I don't remember. Maybe 93. I started working at Deaf Blind School in 93, so it had to be 93. So I moved into this little 3-bedroom townhouse with a friend of mine who needed a roommate, and I had met her when I was getting my master's degree at Converse College, and she was like, I have a 3-bedroom townhouse. You're welcome to come share her with me. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. So I moved in there, and it was the second one from the end. Mm-hmm. And so I moved in this summer because I was going to start teaching that August. And about, I guess it was October-ish, I noticed somebody moving in next door. And I looked out the window and I was like, oh, he's really cute. And so I wonder, anyway. So it wasn't too long after he moved in. It was maybe the next day or something. He came over to bar a can opener and we talked, and he had on a t-shirt that said John 3:16. So I was like, are you a Christian? I just flat out asked him. And he's like, well, yeah, actually I am. So we talked a little bit, and from there it just, and so I married the boy next door. And it's funny because I actually, when we got married, I just moved next door.
Well, that was easy.
I know, right? Oh well. So, but yeah, it's really funny. Got worked that out really funny.
Yeah.
Years later.
And you've got 2 kids.
I do. We do. We have 2 children. Our daughter is 19. She'll be 20. No more teens. She'll be 20 in November, and she is leaving in 2 weeks to go study abroad in Chile.
Wow.
And then our son is 17. He will be a senior this year. He starts, I think his first day is August 16th. So he'll be a senior this year. And so all my babies are growing up and becoming real people.
They do that. Yeah. They do that.
And people I like.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, people I like. Most of the time. Yeah.
Most of the time. Yeah. I get it. Oh, that's fun. So what's next? I assume there are more books in the Blue Justice series.
Yes. Next is Code of Valor, comes out after Called to Protect. I think it's in the fall of next year. I'm sorry. I can't remember these things. It's hard to keep talking. No, I guess it comes out in January of next year. The third one comes out in January, and the fourth one comes out in the fall, and it's called something. I don't know. that bad. I'm sorry. I don't name them. It's because I get used to a name when I name them, and then the publisher changes it. I think it's called Vow of Justice.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So and then it comes out in the fall, and then I'll start a new series, which we've tentatively titled "The Homegrown Heroes."
Oh,
and it has to do with military stuff. Yeah. So I'm excited about that too. But I'm writing the fourth one now. I'm about halfway into it, and it's due September 2nd. So I'm like crazy writing at this point.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be. Yeah. So again, the first book in the Blue Justice series, Oath of Honor, really, really good. And then the second book, Called to Protect, and then the third and fourth book's coming out soon. And Lynette has plenty of other books too. Right now, it's on the website with more to come. I love it. I mean, it's like I don't know how you write that fast in that, but I admire you for that. I'm such a slow writer, so it's like this is great.
Wow. I wrote a lot faster in the beginning. I definitely slowing down. I think my brain is just kind of like, okay, you've tortured me for 10 years now. I'm going into rebellion mode. No, I mean, I still write pretty fast, but I definitely have slowed down from even 5 years ago. So that's okay.
But that leads really good to my next question, which is the question I ask every author as we wind down the interview is, when you're done with the book, what do you do to unwind? You just start
I don't, because I have to jump into the next story so fast, because I'm never like between stories, so to speak, because I am writing two or three at a time.
Wow.
Sometimes, depending. And so when I finish one, I turn it in. I pray over it a lot. I turn it in, and then I'm usually in the middle of the next one, so I just keep going on that one. Yeah. Every once in a while, I'm like, okay, if I don't stop and just take a little break, I'm going to go nuts. So sometimes, my husband and I will go do something, and together we'll take a ride up to the mountains, or whatever. We eat out so often, I don't even consider that like a reward for finishing the book, because I don't cook that much. If I cook something, something's really wrong if I cook. Like, I can't cook.
I'm glad to hear that. I don't like to cook. I don't like to cook, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like, why bother? There's so many options out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing. I just jump into the next story, I guess. I'm very glad to be done. But I mean, you always know edits are coming, and you're never really done. And you never go back and read the finished product, because there will always be things you want to change. So.
Sure. That's absolutely true. Wow. So I have tried to work on more than one project at a time, and it's really hard for me to do that. And I usually, even though I'll try to do it, I end up just putting the one aside and just sticking with the one and just just getting it done. So then I can do the next one. So you're my hero.
Oh gosh, well, thank you. Sometimes it makes me crazy, but that's okay. I think I love it so much that I mean, if I didn't love it like I do, I'd never be able to do what I do. And I realize that's a gift from God. So.
And I think I've heard you say too, and not to keep you too much longer, but that you're able, like, you can write on your phone in the grocery store, right? I mean,
I do.
Yeah, it's like.
I do. Wow. It's so funny, because I have my notes app, and I just pull up my notes app, and let's see, I don't even know. I think and usually, okay, I don't know if I have it on here or not, but I do it like on my notes app or whatever, then I just email it to myself and copy and paste it in my document and delete it off my phone. But yeah, I do. I'll do that a lot. And I've learned how to, like if I'm driving, I had to speak at a library that was about 45 minutes from my house. And I had to get my word count in that day, because like I said, I'm have a book due September 2nd. And so I was on my phone, I was throwing out ideas and throwing out dialogue, and and setting and that kind of stuff. And then, so when I got home, I uploaded it, cleaned it up. It only took me maybe 15, 20 minutes to clean it up. And I had my entire word count for the day.
Wow.
And that was 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, I might be doing that more often. So, because it really does go faster than just sitting there typing, if I can think that much. But yeah. So,
That's
as long as I know where I'm going with the story, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That's really great. That's great.
Yeah. It's helpful.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad, Lynette and I have been together at different times at ACFW conferences and stuff like that. And she's just a fun person always to Blue Ridge. We've been at Blue Ridge together, and it's always fun to just kind of, chat a little bit and enjoy each other's company. So I'm really excited to have you here and excited to be reading your novel.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I really appreciate you doing this. It's a lot of fun to get to talk to you as well.
Oh, thanks. It is. I mean, I love doing this. I love talking to all the different writers and,
Oh yeah. I know.
It's just fun. It really
I enjoy that myself. I love writers' conferences. So be around like-minded.
Yeah, it's great. Well, everybody, thank you. Again, Lynette Eason, you want to get her newest book, Oath of Honor, first one in the Blue Justice series, Called to Protect, and any one of her other 45, soon to be 50. And we'll see you next time on Novelists Unwind. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.